Thanks for watching the Denison Sports Network. I'm Craig Hicks, and today we are previewing the Denison 5K Noble Run Walk that will take place on Wednesday, April 30th on Denison's campus. This is the second annual 5K sponsored by Denison Athletics and named in honor of former Denison President Dale Noble. Last year's race was an overwhelming success with hundreds of participants, and the proceeds went to a scholarship fund in memory of Dr. Noble's daughter, Allison, who lost her battle with breast cancer in 2011. This year's race will still benefit three special causes. It will remain a fundraiser for the Allison Sitton Noble Scholarship, and proceeds will also help establish the Ted Barclay International Student Scholarship Fund and the Spencer Greene Oligo Brain Tumor Research Fund. Coach Barclay was a coach and administrator at Denison for nearly 40 years and one of the most beloved members of not only the Denison community, but the Granville community as well. His passing in February hit all of us hard, and we are happy to not only remember Ted, but to help leave a lasting legacy for future Denisonians in his honor. Denison's third initiative with this year's race is to raise money and awareness for one of our own. Spencer Greene is a senior at Denison who has been diagnosed with Oligodendroglioma, a very rare slow-growth brain tumor that at the present time has no cure. In 2011, the National Brain Tumor Society launched the Oligo Research Fund. Today I'm happy to be joined by Spencer Greene. Well, Spencer, can you tell me a little bit about your diagnosis and what life has been like for you since you found out about that a few years ago?
Yeah, thank you, Craig. So when I was actually a senior in high school when I first started experiencing symptoms. I was having focal seizures in my left arm, or my right arm and my right leg. And I was a really big soccer player. I was, hoping to play collegiate, at the collegiate level. And I was having these focal seizures, and I ended up getting an EEG and all these different types of tests, and then finally the last test on the list was an MRI, and I went and had an MRI, and they sent me to ER directly after, and I didn't really know what that meant. My parents were obviously really upset, so I knew that something was wrong, but I didn't really sure how serious it was, and they ended up diagnosing me with a left frontal lobe mass, and 5 days later I had a full resection not a full resection, but a resection of the tumor, and that's when they diagnosed it as an oligodendroglioma. And so yeah, it was initially, it kind of happened so fast that I didn't really understand the consequences that came with it. And after my recovery, which was was pretty slow, but at the same time I was kind of suppressing my the reality of it. I went back to school and everything was good, and I was in high school, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to take the next step to college, so I took a year off. And during that year off was when it really started to settle in that this is something very serious. It initially happened, I was starting to have focal seizures again, and we went to Mexico because my brother, because I had found out that I was about to go through chemotherapy, and we were one vacation, and that's when I saw, the first night there, we were at a dinner, and I was getting food at the buffet, and I heard just my mom hysterically screaming. And obviously, you can tell when it's your mom, And I ran over there, and my brother was having a grand mal seizure, and we flew home the next day, and he also and he ended up being diagnosed with the exact same type of tumor. And so ever since then, my family has, as I'll talk about later, we've been making huge efforts to raise money, because obviously there is not a cure right now at the present time.
Well, here you are 4 years later at Denison. You're going to be graduating with a degree in psychology. What's your experience been like here at Denison?
The Denison experience in general has been amazing. The support that I get from the faculty and the students, and even I'm affiliated, and the support that I get from my brothers is, it's tangible and it's really powerful. And a lot of times I'll just be laying in bed just with a smile on my face, because I would go to war for them and they'd go to war for me, and that doesn't just go for my brothers. I know a lot of people on this campus that are really, really closely, and they feel the same way, and I would obviously reciprocate. And especially when that tragic event happened where that swimmer passed away. The turn up at Swayze was just incredible. We have an incredible community here, and I'm just proud to be a member.
Now, can you talk a little bit more about Oligo Nation and what you've been doing to help raise awareness and funds for that group?
Yeah, so as I briefly stated earlier, the Oligo Nation, so the National Brain Tumor Society, they have basically, they raise like $8 million a year roughly, and none of their fundraising goes to research for oligodendrogliomas. It all goes for glioblastomas. And so we were donating, and we were like, why are we, like both of our, like my dad was saying, both my sons have this type of tumor. Like, I want to do something about it because it's just me and my brother. Like, we don't have any other siblings. And so we created, or my dad created, a huge push, and he went to the National Brain Tumor Society, and they said, you have to, the minimum amount of money we can have for a research grant is $300,000. And so he just started talking to everyone, emailing everyone, sending letters to everyone. And we ended up at the present, we have like roughly around $1.3 million, and we've cancer never sleeps, so we're doing everything every day. I know that we've already had numerous philanthropy events on campus. We had Derby Days, which was all the proceeds went to Oligo Nation. They had the Women's Lacrosse benefit game, and they raised a lot of money as well. And so just little events like that, they add up, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we'll fund research, we'll give out a grant that will end up resulting in a breakthrough. But until then, we're still just trying to get by.
Well, Spencer, I really want to thank you for joining us today on the Denison Sports Network. If you are interested in participating in the 5K Noble Run Walk, we've made it very easy for you. All you need to do is go to denisonbigred.com to register. When you get to the home page, you will see our main story rotator. Just below that, there are 4 feature boxes. One of those feature boxes says Run the 5K Noble on April 30th. Just click that box and you will be sent to our registration page. The cost ranges from $25 per person all the way down to $15 per person, depending on your age and whether you plan on running or walking. There is also information on the registration page if you would just like to donate to one of our 3 causes rather than participating in the race. Now, we hope to see all of you on April 30th at the Denison 5K Noble. For Spencer Greene, I'm Craig Hicks. Thanks for joining us on the Denison Sports Network.